I've been on the ground for probably about a week there. We turned over with a crew from SEAL Team 2, outstanding crew there, and they had built awesome relationships. They'd trained a bunch of the Iraqi units, and they were doing a ton of operations. But it was kind of mostly on the outskirts of the city because there was no U.S. presence inside the city except for the Marine bases that controlled, and the 101st Airborne, first the 506 battalion that controlled Task Force Red Courier control like the eastern part of the city, and the Marines from 38 Marines controlled the main route to the city that was called Route Michigan. And about every kilometer, the Marines had a base there. And even still, even though we controlled that road throughout our 6-month deployment there was overwhelmingly the most heavily attacked road in all of Iraq. It had 7 to 10 IEDs on average in any 24-hour period. This is a road that we controlled. So like U.S. forces control that road. Every kilometer there's a Marine or Army checkpoint. And so, I mean, it was nonstop, combat that was going on all the time.
Nasty,
And
nasty
when we showed up,
place.
I was just in awe of the soldiers and Marines that were there. And the fight, there was a National Guard unit that was on the ground. And seeing these National Guard, the National Guard, man, they have a fraction of the training and equipment that we have. This was the 228, the 2nd Brigade, 28th Infantry Division, the Iron Soldiers, based out of Pennsylvania. And they had National Guard from really all over. They had some Utah National Guard, Vermont National Guard, Pennsylvania National Guard. And these guys had, they're part-time soldiers. And many of them had been on the ground for over a year at that point. And I mean, these guys were hardened combat warriors. And sometimes I'd show up and the SEAL Team 2, would introduce us and they'd look at us and our high-speed little 10-inch barrel M4s and our gear, and we had better night vision and lasers and stuff like that. And they're looking back at us like, oh man, look at that. Look at the SEALs. They've got, these guys have all this cool gadgetry. And I just, for me, Sean, I was like, man, this National Guard soldier, who's probably 19 years old, has fired more rounds through his weapon in his year here than all of us put together are ever going to fire in our entire careers.
Damn.
And I mean, they were just in the thick of the fight the entire time. The Marines that were manning the checkpoints through that city, in particular the ones at the government center, that was Kilo Company, 38 Marines, awesome unit of Marines. We worked really closely with their Lima Company, Kilo Company, and India companies, and man, they were freaking awesome. And the government center was taken, an OPVA, which is named after like the Veterans Administration building. It was like a Iraqi Veterans Administration building, I guess. Under in the Saddam era, but those two, they'd get hit once a week by 50, 100 insurgents attacking from 3 different directions, hitting them with, a dozen belt-fed machine guns at the same time, lobbing mortars in, the super accurate mortar fire, and then somebody trying to drive a 5,000-pound V-bit into their position. I mean, it was every week.
Wow.
For them. And so we just, when we showed up there, it was like, man, how can we help these guys? What can we do to help in any way that we can? And so we just decided to get to work,